Like, yeah, Diddy need his ass beat. Like, I wish Cassie would have had a gun on her and would have shot him right there on the spot.
This is bad. And I believe in the day and age that we're living in, ain't no coming back from this. You ain't got to worry about nobody coming to his parties. He'd have a tough time with somebody wanting to be seen with him at a Starbucks. Unless it's 60 Minutes or somebody. This is bad. I'm just reporting y'all what I'm saying, and I'm telling you, based on what I just saw, this is indefensible. It's indefensible. It's indefensible, period. But especially if you love women, a daughter or daughters, a sister or sisters, a mama, aunts, cousins, colleagues, friends. It don't matter. Inexcusable, indefensible. Indefensible. Watch the video. Watch the video. Ain't no way around it. Ain't no way around it.
Yeah, I got a bunch of emotions, but the main emotion I always get when I see a man putting hands on a woman in this way is just disgust and disappointment. Like, yeah, Diddy need his ass beat. Like, I wish Cassie would have had a gun on her and would have shot him right there on the spot. Mm-hmm. Like, that's my initial reaction because that's how I always feel when I see situations like this. And then there's this weird sense of grief that sets in because Diddy is a hip-hop hero. Mm-hmm. Diddy is an ordinary person who did extraordinary things, from hip-hop culture. So to sit here and act like this man wasn't a huge part of our upbringing, that would just be me lying to myself. So there's this weird sense of grief, like another one of our heroes has ruined their legacy, and it's his own fault because of poor choices.
Diddy, Cassie, in that hotel. Did you recognize that Sean Combs?
What I want to say, first of all, when I seen the video, everything in the video is egregious. I'm against. I don't support all the charges that's alleged against him. I don't support any of that trafficking, minors, domestic violence. I'm totally against it. So when I seen the video, yeah, I was kind of upset with it. Being that I know him, he's not necessarily a friend, but yeah, I was upset when I seen it. But
did you recognize
everything
him?
I just said.
Did you recognize that kind of anger at all from your experiences?
I don't know like that. What do you mean? Do I be recognized? Did I recognize him? I seen him. What do you mean my experiences? I seen him and I thought it was disgusting. I didn't do a zoom in to see if it was really him or nothing, but he admitted it was him, so yeah, it was him.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? I mean, is there something known in the industry about how Diddy treated his artists?
So I'm going to get some cheeks after this horsepower joint. Who the talent agent for this joint? Like, you think I'll be sitting around watching what Diddy do and all this? I didn't know this was a Diddy joint that y'all invited me to. Who booked me for this joint?
Maybe those things aren't things that broach illegalities. Maybe some of those things aren't things that are immorally wrong. But to beat that woman like that, someone who's clearly scared of you, someone who's clearly in fear, someone who's clearly afraid, and you think that make you a fucking man? And so for me, there is no coming back from it. For me, there is no it's ever going to be okay. For me, all our prayers, all our thoughts should be with that woman. All our thoughts should be with her husband, who in some way is going to have to try to help that woman heal from what the fuck that man did. And I think it's a lesson to all of us that we definitely want people to be innocent until proven guilty.
He belongs in jail, and I believe every word she wrote in that lawsuit. Every word. We did a show just 1 week ago today, last Wednesday, with a lawyer who works for Law and Crime, where we outlined all the allegations against him. And like you would do as any good journalist, we inserted a hefty amount of skepticism. We don't know. The lawyer who represents a lot of these plaintiffs has been chastised by the bar or by the judge for being a little too salacious in the allegations. You know what? Because they're true. At least this one was true. And this man's career is over. I mean, you tell me, but this to me is an example of what enormous money and fame can do to corrupt not just those around you, but an entire industry. Because, Britt, the Intercontinental took $50,000 from Diddy, reportedly, to hide that tape. He went to them knowing he was on camera. He paid them $50,000. And why didn't they run to the cops instead of taking the $50,000? There's going to be a litany of people who know the truth about him, who saw things like this over and over, who covered up for him. He's guilty, but he's not the only one.
Look, we know that we live in a culture of vitriol toward women. We know that we talk about toxic masculinity, but let's speak about the horrible misogyny that exists in the culture, the poisonous patriarchy, and a man thinking that he owns another human being, another woman. And for what Diddy did, and let me be, forthcoming, I've interacted with him, I've talked to him and spoken to him. What we saw today was repugnant and reprehensible. It's inexcusable. And it's, some people would be tempted to say, well, this is the misogyny of hip hop. Look at it. 43, more than the regular population, 43% of those men who are domestic abusers are in female-dominated stuff like clerks. After that, the police and the military. After that, people who work in construction and so on. And after that, preachers and lawyers and so on. So before we get on our high horse and say, this is the bête noire of, hip hop showing its face, preachers are beating the hell out of women too. And they're doing it physically and emotionally and rhetorically. So having said all that, it's horrible. And what we saw there, kicking that young woman while she's on the ground, dragging her, this is the express manifestation of a lethal inability to accept another human being as not only equal, but also understanding her worth as a human being. And to do that is propped up on every side in this culture, not just in hip hop, which has its own misogyny, but in the churches where I go, the synagogues, the temples, the religious orders, the political orders, all of that stuff is chock full of this kind of horse.
So seeing that video, as shocking as it was, for some reason didn't shock me at all. But the truth of the matter, there are a great many people who knew what was going on, a great many people who saw it, a great many people who could have said something and done something, a great many people. And you can tell who they are because now they're the ones with the story to tell. They're the ones, it was, if you had a story to tell then, if you see something, say something, but not now, then. He beat that. If he had done that to my child, I would hunt him down flat out. That would happen. Protection of it can't be just our woman. And all this silly stuff I hear about if it had been a white one, no matter who it was, nobody deserves that. Nobody. Nobody deserves to be beaten senseless. And that's the thing about it is, most women in America are hurt or shot or beaten by men who shared their bed with them. Men who claim to love them. Men who are in a romantic situation or a sexual situation or an intimate situation. So it's not uncommon. But if we're going to say things like the protection of womanhood is important, act like it all the time. Not just when a video comes out. Because before the video, somebody trying to bring a brother down. Let me tell you something. Bringing a brother, if I'm not trying to bring a black man down by trying to stop him from beating a black woman up, how does that happen? It's a really simple thing for me. Always has. It always has been. I said it before and I'll say it again. I believe in my heart Kanye was stalking Kim. I said something. I believe Tory shot Megyn. I said something. I believe Puffy beat Cassie and abused several other women. I said something. I believe Donald Trump is a sexual batterer. I said something. It's not that hard. If you see something, say something. But before people see a video.